So tonight we have a very special guest of Heather Lindstad, our athletics director, and she's going to be talking to us about our athletics and extracurricular work. And thank you so much for coming, Heather.
Before Heather goes, because she's going to end up online pretty soon, like these, I just wanted to put this out there to those who are viewing that in the 2024-25 school year, which we just completed, you'll see that you have the board agenda, the minutes, the recordings, and something new that has started in the past month, where now that those sessions that Lisa just spoke about, so the NEASC accreditation presentation, the student services presentation, the state of activities and athletics presentation that's going to happen tonight. That will also, there'll be another column. You can, if you click on this, it'll bring you right to that presentation. So that if there are also, I mean, one, you can go right there. You don't have to scroll through the entire video, but also if someone asks you questions about something or wants to know some information, you can go click on a link and send a link to somebody to give them something that they can just watch in about 15 minutes, half an hour. Depends if you want to listen to all the questions and answers, but the presentation itself is usually about 20 minutes.
Excellent.
And so we go to 25-26 under the school board agenda. This right here, July 21, 2025, that will be replaced once we have the new video.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay. Well, happy summer. Thank you for having me. Heather Lindstad, the activities director. So I guess a couple of things. We're going to review what happened in 24-25, but also what's moving forward for 25-26. In a way that I think just people talk about it and everybody kind of says that it's more about activities and athletics and if it's my voice. And so tonight I tried to make sure that we understood that activities and athletics are really, it's about the students. So I did get some testimonials from students, and I won't read all of them, but I've attached it to the presentation so that you can read their testimonials about this. Also have a couple of teachers, and I have one teacher that is going to speak about her role running activities and athletics and those kind of things. But I think in general, I just want to highlight that it is about us being a little bit more unique than others. And when we talk about co-curriculars, I think as a district, there's always been this drive for us to have student voice. And that has always been the key for me, is listening to student voice and what they want. So go over some of the clubs and activities and even the new sports that we've added, because it's not about what I wanted or what we thought we needed. And it's not about the past. It is about the current of what students want. And, you know, tonight, again, I might have to put on glasses for the first time I've ever presented in my whole life. I might have to put it on because things do change. So in me seeing this, I even put my screen here. I've got big print, but I still might need these. And I want people to remember that, because I know we always talk about we were able to do it before. Why can't we do it now? Well, things have changed and our students have used their voice, and that's why a lot of things have changed within our school district. So what makes us different? Student voice. One of the keys to us receiving the Eddies, and I know that it was a lot of hard work by all teachers and those kind of things, but when I was asked about co-curriculars, one individual asked me, how do you get so many kids to sign up for co-curriculars or activities? And I said, I see them. And I think all of our teachers see them. And that's why we have clubs and activities, because we see our students ask for something and there's a discussion. Can we make this happen? Because again, co-curriculars are such an extension of their learning and their everyday. And I would say this, sometimes I believe co-curriculars come before their classroom setting, because really some of them don't know what they want. They don't know where they're at, but you know what? They show up for school. They start to engage in class because they have something after school that they really, really are passionate about and they want to find out more about. And it gives them a sense of belonging. For those that don't feel that they belonged, and you'll see it in a lot of the testimonials, some of the kids have found their best friends from playing sports or being engaged in activities. The other thing that, you know, for 1 to 3%, I will talk about the budget that finances co-curriculars is the service, and we'll talk about that and all of the services that our student athletes give to the whole community. And when we talk a little bit more about it, you'll be amazed about the hours and what our students are doing through these co-curriculars. And again, there's some pictures here of Interact, but also something different. And I know some people take offense to it, but that everybody in that picture for athletics, that's our whole winter group. And if you look, everybody's kind of wearing the same white top, although some kids forgot theirs. Of course, that happens. But that's the sense of community that we've really driven, and why more kids are even playing athletics and supporting it is because they really do feel the sense of community. As we all know, but we all have to talk about it, what are the benefits of co-curriculars, right? Well, all the stats will show you, and David Dustin will show you, and we'll show what's happening at the grade schools as well, right? It improves their academic performance. Again, is it because they're coming to school, they know that there's a bar that's set so that they can be involved in clubs and activities and sports? Maybe that's it, but really it's all the soft skills that they're learning because of those kind of things, right? It develops the social skills. There's more of a community atmosphere. You have more friends. You have something that you're passionate about that you can share with others. Personal growth from fostering self-esteem and discovery of leadership. And I'll go over a lot of the leadership things that we go through here at the school. Stress relief and well-being. Again, of course, if you're exercising, your well-being is much better too. Certainly that's the benefit of being part of sports, but also some of the clubs and just, again, the emotional part of it. Career readiness. Again, the next one I show, or some of the testimonials will show that a lot of our students, because of different leadership things, they felt really encouraged about taking the next step into either the workforce or into getting into the college of their choices. So when I started here, so I dug a little deep, and it's pretty interesting that I can shoot an email out and I can find some of our graduates and ask them the questions about it, because about student voice and how they felt like what they did made a huge difference. So in Patrick Greeno's words, Nintendo Club, and I took a lot of heat when I first started this, because people said, Heather, we're supposed to be getting kids out of just playing games, and everybody's attached to video games and those kind of things. And I knew at first when I said it, but there was 3 seniors that actually wanted the Nintendo Club. And in Patrick's own words, that when I reached out to him, he said Nintendo Club was originally just a way for me and my friends to play games with each other, but slowly grew into something way more than any of us could have guessed. I was starting to meet more people through the club as our numbers started to grow, and it led to some awesome opportunities like running and assembly. Okay, because of student council and those kind of things, right? They picked Patrick as a person to run an assembly or pep rally or whatever you want to call it. And here was a kid that just started the Nintendo Club and was a senior and never felt like he really had gotten seen. And the next thing you know, he's running an assembly. Used to help later on life while in college. Without Nintendo Club, I don't think I would have gotten as much out of high school as I did. Another young lady who graduated just last year started the animation group, and honestly, it did help me create new leadership skills. It helped my mental health too when it came to some personal struggles I was dealing with at that time. And for me personally, it did make me feel more capable of being in the class as a whole. Again, Her attendance all obviously improved and those kind of things, just because she felt like she was empowered to run a club, but also the group that she met. This year, this one is from the essay that of Lola Hayes. Lola Hayes, I don't believe we've ever had this, and I guess I could go. Something that I would like to change long term is our record keeping for athletics and a lot of things isn't as great as it should be. But Lola, we had gotten into, we hadn't been, I don't know why, a part of the scholars, the NHADA, but in the last couple of years, we've been going to the senior thing. You have to write an essay to get the scholarship, and I think it's the first, but I could be wrong again. Our record keeping isn't great, way before me, of student athletes if they won these awards. But again, so Lola's essay was part of why she got the award. And again, I just took excerpts of it, but I thought these are kind of the things that pushed and go with what I was saying, what the benefits are. So I stole it. On top of that, I pushed even further and signed up for harder classes. I signed up for different extracurricular activities and clubs too. The more I put myself out there, the more comfortable I became. I met more friends and ended up holding leadership roles in many clubs. I learned that in order to advance to the next level in anything that I needed to spread my wings, became a leader. Another big life-changing moment came when I volunteered with the Interact Club to help renovate a school in the Dominican Republic. What an eye-opening experience that was. I went on a trip not knowing who I would hang out with. And again, this goes back to the friendships that between clubs and activities that the kids, and it's not just about sports and winning, it's about those things. I connected with a couple of people I knew and we became close friends. I could feel my heart change. If you read the rest of Lola's thing, though, she will talk about, and I guess one of the things that I talk about is I sit here and talk to all of you. If it wasn't for sports, I wouldn't be sitting here. And Lola talks about it, how shy she was and how athletics, but also clubs have helped her manage these things and do the things that she wanted. And she's become a great leader because of those kind of things and the growth that she's had with her friendships. Here is our group, this Lola getting the award, as well as our other senior scholars. And again, our senior scholars, I bring this up because you know what? They didn't know that this was award, and you don't know. You have to, for 4 years, achieve, okay, a grade point average of over a 2.8 for the entire 4 years that you're at that school and participate in at least 2 athletic sports. So they didn't know that they were achieving this, but they knew that they wanted more. And that is one of those things about being in athletics, right? You challenge yourself, just as Lola said, I just challenged myself. And the next slide, David Dustin gave me about the New Hampshire scholars, right? People now, our students are now driving themselves. They're taking more classes, more core courses. They're preparing themselves for college and their careers, but they're challenging themselves as far as what they want to do and how rigorous they want their high school academics to be in their curriculum. So again, it's not there. It is just kind of being a part of something and the environment that has been created here of challenging themselves. And again, what came first, or sometimes what is the drive? Well, maybe it's just that after school club, but then it turns into so much more as far as what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve academically, because they know that they have the support and that they've learned how to drive themselves harder and take on more challenges. Some of the leadership and service opportunities, and like I said, we for just Interact in National Honor Society, we've logged about 1,000 hours. And again, talk about that, but sometimes even I don't track the number of hours that people put into game crew. But if we didn't have sports, we wouldn't have a game crew, right? We wouldn't be live streaming. They wouldn't be running concession stands and those kind of things. And that's all kind of the services that they give back. 2 of the biggest ones that I initiated and kind of oversee, although have advisors for them, is the Link Crew and Web. Web, where everybody belongs, is our middle school leadership program, so that 8th graders are overseeing and mentoring our 6th graders, while Link Crew is juniors and seniors who oversee the ninth grade orientation, and Webb does the same thing. Eighth graders run our sixth grade orientation. Our juniors and seniors run our ninth grade orientation. So they run it, they give up time during the summer, they give up 2 days to come in, to train, to learn to be better leaders, to give of themselves. Again, they're giving back, and that is community. And all year, they run different events. They meet with their mentor groups. So there's 2 to 3 Link Crew members or 2 to 3 Web kids meeting with mentor groups of 8 to 10. Our numbers are phenomenal as far as the way that this program has grown. When I started the Link Crew, we started as, I think we had 20. In fact, I know we did. We had 20 this year because we've already had our registration. We already had our fun day of training during the school year. We have 41 high school juniors and seniors that want to give back and mentor the ninth graders. Our Web went from 18 to 20 to 24 this year. And again, keep in mind, they had Web leaders and they had Link Crew leaders that supported their years. And now they want to return it and give back, right? So they want to stay with the program. They know what it did for them. These programs are there, and especially the Link Crew, to make sure that ninth graders feel a sense of community. In ninth grade is that formal year, am I going to make it in high school, right? The dropout rates are higher in ninth grade than most, where kids just say, you know what, this isn't for me. And when I talk about this when people saying to me at basketball games, Heather, how can we have more activities? How can we keep these kids that aren't in school, that are down, creating trouble maybe in downtown Jaffrey? How can we do this? And these are one of the programs and leadership things in the community that we're trying to do here at the school. But again, we ask for applications, right? We're not recruiting kids to do these kind of things. They're doing it for themselves because they want the community. They want to be stronger for it. They want to be better leaders, and they want to give back. And so when we talk about leadership and service opportunities, we're creating those things. As everybody knows, if you come to Hoops for Hope, it's always, there's the fan base, right? They're involved. National Honor Society and raised over $4,500 for Hoops for Hope. In the last couple of years, our fall sports, because we have homecoming, we've raised at least $2,000 every year for cancer as well. So these are all opportunities where the student athletes and/or National Honor Society is working with athletics to create and promote these kind of events for everybody. Again, it's just building. You're going to see some of these pictures, and I'm sorry, but hot pink was the color of the year last year, so I don't know. Again, here it is, and here are the numbers. So it's a little off about Link Crew involvement from year to year and how it's grown. If you look at the middle photo, again, for Link Crew and Web, right, during the school year, we have events. So that's a Halloween get together and building those kind of things. Funny thing about just bringing new things in, and I have to bring it up because Charlie had no idea what pickleball was when I first came here. Pickleball, and now that we introduced it and our PE teachers introduced it when we ran the Link Crew Olympics, it was an Olympic event that the kids said, oh, everybody wants to play pickleball. At the Olympic event, all the ninth graders, every ninth grader was so excited to be on the court. The court was surrounded by everybody cheering on for pickleball as one of the main events of the Olympics. And I laugh about that because in Maryland now it's a varsity sport. In Florida, they think pickleball is going to be a varsity sport. And maybe we will be on the cutting edge here in New Hampshire. Again, in talking to David and administration here at Conant Middle High School, you can see as far as the community and sense of belonging, as things have obviously, incidents have gone down. Again, I say that, to our Link kids and our Web, it is so nice to know somebody's name. And our eighth graders and our juniors and seniors walk the hallways and they're learning these kids' names. So if a ninth grader doesn't feel like they're known, they pick their head up because there's somebody saying hello to them. It makes a huge difference in the hallways and in the community, in the sense of belonging and those kind of things. And so right now I'm gonna turn it over a little bit because I've stolen some of her thunder probably because of all the things, but Amanda Wiley has obviously been terrific as an advisor for us, or for me. When teachers have left or those kind of things, and there's a club like Dungeons and Dragons that doesn't have an advisor, I'm able to ask her to fill in and sit in, and she studies up on Dungeons and Dragons and make sure that the students have a great event. So the voice of a teacher, Amanda Wiley.
I'm going to sit out of the video screen so I can read my notes here. So I participated in CMHS clubs as a mentor since the first year I worked as a full-time teacher. The value of clubs is their ability to offer high-quality, unique experiences for learners without the burden of academic measurement. I have seen my students, who might struggle in some academic challenges, thrive in the clubs they participate in. The school day is a high-stress environment, both academically and socially. The students are under pressure to absorb all academic information, perform to high standards on all assessments and projects, and to behave appropriately at all times amongst their peers and the adults around them. They must do this every weekday, and I, as their teacher, see the weight of this on them constantly. This pressure is important. They are learning to connect with their community and to hold themselves responsible in their lives, but they do not have many opportunities to be in this space without that weight of the pressure and expectation. During clubs and activities, that pressure shifts. They must still hold themselves to high social standards. They must still use their academic skills, but the goals and experiences have changed. Now they are working together in play and using those same skills towards small goals that hold massively high value to them. When my club participants walk into my room for the Magic the Gathering Club, they change. The same students who were in my classroom an hour before learning science or engineering with all the seriousness, enthusiasm, and concentration that deserves, now enter my room lighter, excited, and more socially playful than before. We have an hour and a half of competitive play where they work as teams, settle disputes, find friends who share their own niche interests, and let the weight of that day leave them in the process. I intentionally run this club every Friday because I know that after a long week of high pressure, I and my learners can look forward to spending our last hours in the school building, not having to worry about our grades, but being able to be in the same space we have spent hours living in, using those same skills in a lower pressure yet highly rewarding game. No one can thrive in a place where the environment around them is not welcoming or accepting of you. For some learners, mathematics comes easily. Reading is like breathing, and their art is understood and admired by those around them. Knowing where they belong in this school is easier. For some learners, succeeding academically is not as fluid, and they struggle to find the place where they effortlessly fit. If all they experience in this building and with these people is struggle, without that feeling of self-actualization, they might start to dread their weeks and all the things connected to this space, their teachers and their peers. Neither high or low-achieving learners are immune to this feeling of being alone in a world that they have no place in. I have seen students adrift. It is not something that I want to see more of. Many of these students have found anchors in athletics, clubs, and activities. In sports, they can thrive, and in the case of our school, often achieve state or national awards, where not only have they found a place to belong in this school, but have been recognized nationally for their excellence in it. Our creative problem-solving activities like Destination Imagination, Cooking Club, Baking with Baker, and Robotics Club have helped learners apply their academic skills in new ways and compete with creativity. When they leave a competition, they know that they have been to something real, competed against opponents who are trained and prepared, and have left with success to be proud of. I, as an adult, will never compete in a cooking club. I will never race to finish a robot faster and better than a team from another state. I myself will never test my problem-solving skills and imagination against another team while being judged by a panel of experts. Our students have, and they have won, and they thrived. Our band and drama students practice for hours, working as a team, each with responsibilities and knowledge of their role and the roles of the others. Each year, they set new bars for excellence, and each year they surpass them. I do not believe that they know how rare that is. When you participate in a club, it's easy to believe that it will go on forever. For most people, these experiences end with graduation. Adult bands and drama troupes exist, but not the same frequency as in school. Baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis, soccer, pickleball. All these sports exist outside of school, but not nearly at the same frequency or openness as in here at this establishment at this time. Our school provides these opportunities to the best of our ability and strives to keep them available for as long as learners want them. Each of these opportunities is completely dependent on learner interest. In the years I have taught CMHS and mentored clubs, I have helped to start a handful of them. I tried to start a science STEM club called League of Mad Scientists. We would hopefully conduct experiments and design challenges that might not normally fit with the normal curriculum, but be awesome and very fun. The idea was sound, well conceived, and advertised. I came up with it and was very proud of it. Participation was so low that the club failed and has never run again. Despite my desire to run this club, student interest was not there and did not support it. Hopefully it will in the future, but we'll wait a couple years. Conversely, the animation club was started by a learner who herself had few academic experiences, and it flourished as she found a club mentor, and like-minded students found sanctuary in it. Animation Club is a highly student-driven club and has remained long after its learners' graduation, with marked academic success. What is hard to convey is that clubs and activities are not here because adults want them to run. They are here because students want them to run. Magic the Gathering Club did not start because I wanted to play the game. It started because 3 middle schoolers asked Miss Lindstad if they could start the club, and I was willing to mentor it for them. I started Fishing Club with this in mind. My father and uncle spoke to me fondly about how they found success and belonging in their high school by participating in the hunting and fishing clubs. I know so many of my students who have loved their personal experiences hunting and fishing, but we did not offer any of these experiences at the school for them to share that interest. I started the fishing club tentatively to see if there was student support and to find out what the students wanted out of the club. It is open to all high school and middle school learners, but the main participants are the middle schoolers who want to learn how to fish or to help their friends learn. Half of our students have never fished before, and the other half have eagerly taken on the roles of instructors. My role for this club has been to enable them to find space safely together to share their knowledge. If they were not invested in the continuation of this club, they wouldn't have shown up. Clubs are not mandatory, and their participation informs the kinds of clubs we offer and how often they run. Because of this interest, the fishing club has grown from once a month in the first year to twice a month the last year, to every week, hopefully starting this next school year. I hold my club participants to high levels of sportsmanship, coach them through social interactions, help them understand the guidelines of the activities, and am constantly blown away by what they achieve with the support. The academic weight is off. They are still in school, and they are flying. I am a club mentor because there is value in this program. There is value in the work we do, and there is immeasurable value to the students these programs reach. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I wanted to bring up teachers and those kind of things because I think, and again, maybe it's my past, but I only got into coaching, and coaching became more of my passion and my love than making really good money. And I think that the same thing could say about Cody Gadsby. And I got him to send me a little testimonial, even though I think he was on his honeymoon. But again, it's somebody that it helps him, and I can read it, but it helps him develop the relationships and the understanding of the students in the hallways and those kind of things, and be a part of, again, the whole community. He, again, is with National Honor Society. He does the student council. He's a soccer coach for the girls, an assistant soccer coach for the girls, and basketball. He's the JV coach for baseball. But again, it makes a difference, and it makes a difference for our students that our teachers are that involved and that they can go to them and feel a sense of pride, but also if there is any angst, that they know that there's somebody there that they can rely on. Again, I think that it also helps, and I will say that we recruited last year or hired a field hockey coach who is now a terrific teacher at JGS, but she was coming here first because she wanted to be our field hockey coach. And I think she's doing a terrific job as a teacher at JGS in Ashley Lingerman. But again, we found her first because she wanted to continue the passion that she has of giving back as a field hockey coach. And again, in other voices, this young man, he caught my attention when I reached out to him, but he caught my attention because he's a web leader. We asked the web leaders this year when they do the step up, the fifth graders were here on campus and they were in the Pratt. And we asked anybody that wanted to speak to the fifth graders about their experience and why they were web leaders. And Logan, his first thing was, hey, by the way, I tried basketball and it wasn't for me. You don't have to come here and just play basketball. You can do anything that you want. And again, and he also said while he was standing up there in front of a bunch of fifth graders, and I found out that I can do track and I'm really fast. Again, I reached out to obviously the parent of a now going to be eighth grader and asked for it. And the mom had this to say: I'm so grateful for the activities and athletics provided by Conant. Seeing my son get the opportunity to try different clubs and sports is amazing. They get the experience of being a part of a group with common goals and interests. These will be lifelong learnings when being a part of a team, working together and succeeding, but also how to build relationship when losing the game. I have loved seeing my son come out of his shell when playing soccer and running track. He was a new kid. My other two children are eagerly awaiting the opportunities to participate in the variety of offerings provided by the school when they reach CMHS. For everybody's knowledge, and like I said, it might seem like a lot, or why are we doing these things? There is the goals, obviously, when we build a club. Yes, students here, they can find me. They find me easily, but when I talk to the principals and those kind of things, and when we set up our stipends and those things, everything across the board for the district, right? The number one thing is to always confirm an advisor or coach. But we're talking about 5 to 7 kids being interested. And we can talk about, and I'll get to like JGS, and well, following the policy that we are not going to have cuts unless they're at the high school level for our athletics. But this obviously 5 to 7, and it's kind of interesting that Destination Imagination, they were doing this, pre-rec for Destination Imagination to find 7 students. Well, 21 to 28 kids were showing up, right? And we were saying, oh no, they're really good at it, but now we have to cut, right? But that doesn't fit what we're trying to do. Our criteria is if you do have the 5 to 7, that we should make sure that we have these clubs and activities and that we don't cut. And again, at JGS this year, they had the 3 programs. It was a success. And every kid got the same experience. And it wasn't one of those things like, hey, you know what? I can't do it next year. They know that they can continue in DI and they can get to the middle school and do it. And they can also do it at the high school level. If it's an introductory program, which some of our advisors do, just kind of like Amanda said, she came to me, what can we do? And we have to see the numbers that they are going to be there. But again, some of the introductory clubs and activities, especially at the grade school, are just allowing kids to find out. But same thing happened in the middle school this year. And there was a crafting group, right? And they just wanted to do it in the fall. They just wanted to be a part of something. And it was really especially great for 6th graders who really were trying to find their friend group as well. So then we can go through the long list. If you see MS, that means that it's just offered at the middle school. These are the ones for Conant Middle High School. If it doesn't have anything, it means that both schools have it for the high school. There are some, like the animation, that it has never been a problem that the middle school and the high school kids attend together. However, Dungeons and Dragons, it's a different group, right? So we have a middle school group of Dungeons and Dragons. They can't be in the same club as high school kids and their adventures in Dungeons and Dragons. So even though we have them, but again, there are certain ones that fall into those kind of categories, but like animation, art exploration, we can have 6th graders and 12th graders in the same thing. And again, you guys can read them and where we're going with that. These are the new clubs that are coming towards us: the National Art Honor Society, the Chess Club, Disc Golf, that is huge. And when we did the fair, which we do a activities and athletics fair in the spring for the following year, so we know what we can do, what we're organizing, and teachers propose these ideas as well as students. Disc golf, again, probably be a huge thing for the community. Mr. Duggan has the whole plan and scope of those things, so that's going forward. The forum, that one, I have a testimonial where I actually have, and you can read it. The forum is, a student submitted it and I attached it. So at the end, if you guys want to look at his proposal and those kind of things. But if you read kind of the main idea, offer a new club for students to improve upon critical thinking, philosophical and rhetoric skills, and have thoughtful and constructive discussions. He's got a target audience. This past spring, he already has 8 people signed up, kind of like-minded, but you got to love this. We would also like to create an environment of inclusivity to promote team building. Therefore, the club would be accessible to all high school students of any grade. So he was around a group, he was in class, presented it. Mr. Duggan would be the advisor that was talking to them and those kind of things. And that's how these things are formed. And clearly, it's geared towards, and he even says it to those students that think maybe they want their career into becoming lawyers and they want to make it a debate thing. They've also talked about doing the trivia, New Hampshire trivia things, those kind of things. So again, it's coming from student voice. And if you read his proposal too, one of the highlights though is, I really hope, I know it's going to be successful this year, but I really hope that there's funding, because I think that this club can go on for future years. And I bring that up because that is going to be the biggest question that so many kids still have. We've lost students right now that have left the school, that have withdrawn from the school. What is going to happen? But I say that and we'll get to the numbers as far as sports, but with the budget and everything, it seemed like in the spring more kids signed up for track than ever. And it was like, okay, well, if this is my opportunity, I better do track, but I want to stay with track. So I know those kind of things, but again, kids haven't stopped wanting what they think should be here as far as schools and their presentations and those kind of things. At the Jaffrey grade school, here are those kind of things. I bring up Be Active in the mornings. Again, that's a collaborative that I run. It's been really highly successful with working with student teachers from FPU. Be Active is probably the only club that I've run that I actually have to not sign people up. Be Active at JGS. If I could get the people to volunteer and or if I could get the advisors for that, I could have filled 5 days a week for Be Active, and every group could have been 20 to 25. I had over 38 people signed up, but it's JGS gym, and if you've seen the gym, I hope all of you have. And I talk about that because, again, especially with young learners, and they say one of the best things for young learners is to be active, and especially if we can get them active in the morning, it provides that outlet so that they're ready and more focused for what they're doing. I know everybody's interested in test scores, but across the nation, if we could get everybody to do something in the morning, especially our young people at RMS and Jaffrey, it will help their test scores as far as math and those kind of things, because it really keeps them focused on what they're trying to do. And again, I feel bad, but I can't teach all 5 sessions, and I can't find enough FPU students to get up early in the morning. But Be Active is one of the popular ones at Jaffrey Grade School and RMS. Again, but as I said, Destination Imagination is huge. Drama, that has worked out really well. Drama, as you guys saw 2 years ago, and even this year, they joined the middle school in some of their productions and those kind of things. And then we have Ringes from student council, those kind of things. I meant to mention that, and I did with leadership, but every school obviously has a student council. And so those are big things for all of our young people throughout the district. As far as sports, I've listed them all. One of the highlights I will talk to you about is when you see something like fall middle school sports and it says volleyball club, I know some people have always said, again, why do we have to have so many people participating at the middle school level? Again, it is a sense of belonging. I want people to understand that you don't get that same sense of belonging from a travel team. You want to be here. I hear more and more about our baseball program when those caps go on in the spring and everybody knows who the baseball people are. But again, it's a big thing to be a part of something at your school and not have to be on a travel. Why does it say volleyball club? This year, right now for middle school, I already have 16 girls signed up for the middle school club. We don't have, when I put in clubs and those kind of things, we don't have rec programs for these sports and they're varsity sports. So our numbers have gone up, especially at the middle school too. They're not traveling right now because they're just clubs, but we're allowing, and our coaches have done a phenomenal job of allowing that. It is happening with swim, it's happening with volleyball, it's happening with wrestling, that the middle schoolers can be a part of something, and they are our feeder group. And our numbers, when I show numbers as far as how did the numbers go up so much, Heather, in the winter for middle school, you're going to know. And it's because there are club programs. Again, they're not traveling, they're not doing anything, but again, they're participating and they feel like they're part of it and they are our feeder groups. When I highlighted at the bottom, middle school registrations, we'll probably have a third team. People can ask me about that. I have already scheduled. And again, the more kids participating, it's just harder on me for scheduling purposes, but I think I can handle it. We have a co-ed, we will probably have a co-ed soccer team. We did it back when there was, when we had COVID and we had co-ed teams, but there are some schools like South Meadow School that I've already researched. They had sent a club team or co-ed team against us last year. It wasn't a problem, but there are teams in the vicinity. And so we will probably have too many for a roster for girls and boys. And those kids would probably be on co-ed team. And then they'll also get to participate in games. So I know people ask me about rosters and is everybody getting to play? We are going to build a schedule so that kids get the opportunity. They might not be playing on the big team, but we will have another team so that they can participate and be a part of something. As far as uniforms, we have plenty of uniforms. And so people will be all set with that too. So then I'm just kind of going through it, see the clubs and why middle school numbers are so big. But again, it keeps everybody busy. Last year, yes, we had 54 boys signed up for boys basketball at the middle school level. And we had 3 teams. The girls had 2. And again, it's getting kids involved and being part of it. And like Logan said in his testimonial, or said to the 5th graders, you know what, you can try it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But yeah, I had the opportunity, got the opportunity, and I've made a decision that what's more important to me or what I like better and what I'm going to be more successful in. If we create the atmosphere where they can't try it, then they'll just never know. And the same thing with another spring sport of tennis. We have a club program for the middle school. Our numbers for participation, I'll talk about it in 2025 for the high school. In the fall, we had 106. In the winter, we had 98. In the spring, we had 94 for a grand total of 298 kids. For our middle school participation, we had 85 in the fall. In the winter, we had 97 kids participate. In the spring, we had 80 for a grand total of 262. In total of clubs and all of our athletics, we had 794 participants as what I want to call though opportunities. So 794 opportunities because somebody participated in it. If you take the total enrollment of grade 6 through 12 here at CMHS, it was about 650 this year. It just tells you, I hope that you understand that this is really making a difference and it's what they want to be doing. They're creating these opportunities and the numbers speak for themselves. If we create the opportunities because they've asked through student voice, then that's where it's at. And it keeps everybody safer, creates a better environment. It is going to make them better students academically because they're here, they want to be a part of this, and they feel the sense of community. And again, they're giving back to the community through all of their hours for community support. There's more testimonials that you guys probably could read and those kind of things that, again, I took excerpts from them. Here's my kid Gabe, though, who was one of those kids that made sure that he participated on the wrestling team because his brother was doing it, but he's got friends now as high schoolers, right? He feels a sense of community and he feels that the safety of the school, maybe because his brother's there, but he also feels like he has something different. He's also a web leader, and he is another one that was speaking up that it made such a big difference for him. This is from one of our 3-sport athletes, Violet Bennett, just about what it means for her to be an athlete. The networking opportunities, I did take her to a leadership conference. She was exceptional at that. But just what it's meant for her. And again, I think she says it in her own words that she wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for sports and what she is. On the left, we reestablished ice hockey. We hadn't had boys ice hockey in a couple of years, so we were back with that in the co-op. Wrestling for the first time ever. We had our first varsity year. The numbers are growing for tennis. The cheerleader, yeah, she looks young, but again, she was part of it. She doesn't go to the competitions with our high schoolers, but she's learning, and that is part of our feeder program because there's nowhere else. We don't have a football program. We don't have, youth football in the area, so there's nothing to cheer for. So they're here and they're participating, and it gives them a sense of what they want to do. And obviously, it's part of our feeder group. Next, I have a little video. And the reason I stole this video is because sometimes people don't understand it's coming from me, and it's Heather Lindstead, but I just wanted to prove, or I'm not proving it, but show that every community, it should work.
Yeah, because it's a PDF, it wasn't linked in separately.
The
So can
new one was working.
Okay, so, but there's still I can send that to.
The new one that I sent today.
Right, but then I made a PDF on the.
Oh.
This is a static document.
Live link.
Got it.
Hold on.
So give
Yep.
me-
Okay.
I'll exit this for a second, just to pick it up.
Heather, can I take the second to ask a question?
Go ahead.
You said 650 kids, middle school and high school participated. Is
That's our enrollment.
that's our enrollments?
But the 794 opportunities.
Okay, so some of those
total-
kids are
our total
counted.
for, right, so that's why I call it an opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
So, but out of 650, right, so even if we double up a few of them, right, we're talking about more than probably about 60%, 65%.
And that includes all the charter school and homeschool kids who participate as well, right?
Yep.
Just sent you an email, Rupert. Sorry, I realized there was a live link. Okay, that's what.
So, just so I understand, if I were to look at high school, you have 106 participants in the fall.
Yep.
Middle school has 85. I add those together. That's 191 out of the 650. Is that correct?
So I did the total for fall, winter, spring, if you go across. So,
No, I was just talking
Oh.
about fall.
yep, go ahead.
If I were to
Yep.
look, I have an enrollment of 650.
Mhm.
I have 106 high school, and I have 85 middle school.
Yep.
Opportunities. So together, that's 191 opportunities
And then,
out of 650.
but then I added clubs, which would be, they sign up at the beginning of the year, so it was 234. Clubs and opportunities. Clubs and activities.
How much are the clubs again?
Last year, 234.
234. So you,
Let me put on my glasses again. Yep.
Okay, so the 191 plus 234.
And the clubs, for the most part, Charlie, are year round. For the middle school. high school.
425 out of 650. Is that what sounded about right? Okay. Thank you. Oh, I did have one other question.
Yep.
I don't know if you're gonna touch on it or not. I just wanted to know how much use the late bus gets.
Is there a hyperlink on the video?
I just sent your presentation to Ruby's, that hyperlink in the presentation.
In
No.
my presentation is.
No. No, the box is there, but it's not linked.
Yeah,
So you have yours.
Sure.
Yep.
You find it?
No.
Nope, but we're gonna, this over here.
Expediency.
It will pop up soon.
I don't have. Should work. Not working. When will it work? Well, I won't keep it, the reason I use it, again, because some people.
Themselves.
Yeah.
Here's the,
Athletes, coaches.
you can do it without this.
By Capital One. Please welcome Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, and entrepreneur.
Well, that's the whole thing, so you don't want to listen to the whole thing.
Roots have come to California, who decided she
Hold on.
was so.
Okay.
We were starting a journey together. One where I learned just as much as from her as she ever did from me.
Sorry.
Mia is why the Sloan Stevens Foundation exists. And there are hundreds of other kids
And I
like her in Compton, in South Florida, and now
You
across
could share with us your.
Yep, I'm gonna share it. So, I'm huge, obviously, into athletics and sports and stuff. I was watching the ESPYs, and they couldn't have said it any better. Sloane Stevenson, is a professional tennis player, fabulous at what she does, but she has a foundation. She even mentions in this that seeing this one girl, Mia, who she sent off to college and who got a scholarship, has grown into something bigger than even she thought. They now work on literacy and they even have esports teams. Imagine that, through her foundation. What I wanted to say is, but people don't realize it, and maybe because it's coming from me or it's coming from the school board or any of those kind of things. It's across the country. We have something that other people are seeking and trying to find. How do we get to these students? And we have it. This is how we reach our students. This is how we reach them. This is how we give them more. This is how we get them to get the education that they want and or deserve, is through these kind of things. Different learning processes, different things that we're doing. So when you listen to it, it was just unbelievable. And I believe that things happen for a reason. So as I was listening to this thing, I said, that's it. Sloane Stevenson saying the same thing that I would like to say, right? But we have it, and we have it here. So that is, I just want to round it off and saying that I know what we've done. I understand that people think maybe we're doing too much, but we're not. And this is what the students need, and they're asking for it, and they are being creative in what they know to be beneficial for them and for their futures. And again, the last slide of this presentation is, you can read the full length. I couldn't get that to work, but you can copy and paste it into your browser. and you can read all of the full length testimonials, because I don't want people to think that I just cut out the good stuff and made my presentation work, right? They're all there so that you can read them, right? Of what they're saying and what's happening. I know that I say this all the time, I'm not sitting here if it wasn't for athletics for me, right? I found my voice, I found everything through that. But the reason I really sit here is because of my passion to give back to students through clubs and activities in sports. And so that is what I'm trying to highlight, is what they can do, because it can just make such a huge difference. So I thank you. I'm sorry it ran a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure that I represented the students and the teachers as well as I could of how important it is.
I would just like to point out that you're actually better off without the video embedded in the presentation, because that might get us tagged when we post it on YouTube. Yeah, another link to something you don't own a copy of. Okay, so distribute it to the board separately, that'd be great.
And you could not have said it better than that. So Sloan Stevens couldn't have beat that. Sorry. No, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much for taking the time with us. You put in so much work. You've got so much information, and we've always been grateful for the amount of work that you put into this and the investment you do above and beyond. Thank you so much, Lily.
Thank you.
Do you guys have questions? Comments?
I echo everything you said, and Heather does an absolutely fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just say I think it's phenomenal. The amount of inclusion, the amount of response to what students have asked for. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a comment and a question. I think the way you started it off and then, proceeded to back up was like, this is what makes us unique, right? I think it's important, as we go into this season where we're going to be justifying as we do every year, justifying all of our expenses for people to understand really what everything is and what the value is. So I think you did a good job in explaining that. But I will say it does become a conversation, in the community, like what makes us unique can be used in another way, as a negative. And that, I know I personally hear it all the time. Well, school X doesn't do this, school Y doesn't do this. So I think it's very important to have this information as to why we do this. And yeah, maybe I don't know what other schools do. I admit it, but I believe it when I see the number of opportunities that we have, and I'm very aware of that. So I look at it as a board member. If it makes us it's a real differentiator, right? It does make us unique, I think.
Well, I think, Chris, listening to student voice, they know better. I bring up esports because of Nintendo Club, right? Esports right now, we were ahead of it because we started a Nintendo Club with nobody else. The NHIA now, it's a sport. Esports falls under the NHIA umbrella. So I don't think anybody saw that coming, right? So it's being governed by the same people that govern our field hockey, our basketball, and everybody like that. Right around 300 colleges and universities across the country have esports programs, and over 200 of them give scholarships. It's the easiest scholarship. I shouldn't say that the most growing scholarships for anything, even beyond athletics, because athletics now has gone off the rails as far as scholarships for sports, because if everybody knows now we're just paying athletes. But if you want to go to a school and you're not an athlete, and you've been part of an esport program at your high school, or been on the Nintendo Club, there's scholarship opportunities. So right in line with how many scholarships that kids can get for First Tech Robotics. So I guess that is what I was trying to say, and especially with Sloan's statement is other people are searching for what we already have. We've really we've built it, and I just think that we should, for the students, they've built it. You guys have approved it. We just need to keep it rolling and figure it out.
And I think long term, that'll be, to me anyways, will be especially important, because I think in New Hampshire, if you look at taking the lead of the legislature, right? They kind of tried this year to make school choice a thing. I think the legislation clearly wasn't that thought out, but we're, headed in that direction. So things that we can do to differentiate that students and parents will look for. I think it's very important for us to be forward thinking like that. And I see that as part of the equation. So I guess that's my comment there. And as far as, not to get back to budget stuff, and I don't want you to answer the question right now, but what I'm definitely interested in, and again, with the board, is figuring out, like, I know, right, I coach, I use our facilities. I know that, we have needs, financial needs. It does take money to run some of these programs. And I'm interested, as we go forward, to be able to understand maybe what our priorities are. I don't know whether that'll fall in with maybe the kind of facilities committee requests, but and we don't need to get into specifics, but I think as we look forward into next year, I think there are definitely some needs that we'll need to prioritize, and certainly, maybe not be everything, but for us to understand that, I think will be important.
Well, I think, and I already, when it's needed, I do have ideas of how, just similar to what I said, like already thinking about the soccers, right? And making sure that we have co-ed teams and those kind of things. And again, forward thinking, we were successful during COVID and creating kind of an inter squad scrimmages and those kind of things. So some of those numbers, probably we become more like colleges, right? And have really strong, for some of it, we're gonna have to have really strong intramural programs, and they get to play against each other. As far as those kind of things, right? So if we have to build some of this stuff and there are opportunities, especially at the middle school, to play against each other, we can create those kind of opportunities.
I think it's interesting. I was just scribbling. I like to scribble. And you mentioned budget, and let's just take the figure of $30 million in a school budget. So we are here at school, kids come to school, teachers come to school, people who work in the SAU and in our education system come to school. We're here about 6.5 to 8 hours a day. And social studies, math, science, STEM, art, etc. And that in the budget, there's pockets of obviously different categories. We know student services, transportation, all of that. But that, when we think about school, when we think about that, that's the out of 30 million, that's 98% of what we're spending our funds. And then we have the second half of the day, and you mentioned you coach and actually a sport that goes late. So like tennis or track or obviously these basketball teams, people who are working with these kids during that time frame and long hours after school each and every day. There's this all right, here's the first part of the day, then there's that second part of the day. And as you stated, Heather, that second part of the day means an awful lot for a lot of people, and for a wide array of reasons we don't need to go into, from just challenging them, keeping them safe, giving them a sense of belonging, what have you. And that's roughly 2% of the budget. So you have like 700,000 roughly, maybe 2.33%, of that money is spent on that second half of that kind of 12-hour day for these kids. So the first part costs a lot. This part, which does also impact a lot, maybe in some cases more, but I think they go together. I wouldn't pit one against the other, but it is interesting for all of this, where this is 2% and it's accomplishing a lot in the lives of these children.
Can I just make a comment that I've often thought the same thing about school lunches?
Yeah.
Least expensive part of the day in a way. You consider the importance of feeding our kids.
I just have one more thing, and I think that one of those things that does make it unique is that inclusivity. And one thing that I didn't see on here, and I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with what we offer but I know that other schools do, is that like unified sports programs. Is there like, what do we have currently, or is that something that we could, is that an opportunity to expand that?
We used to have unified sports and then, and that, you know, I was working with, Jen Horn and we just we haven't had the numbers in the last couple of years to facilitate it. So again, if there's the students and 2 years ago, we were doing a lot of recruiting. We were recruiting the students, talking to teachers and advisors, and we just didn't have we don't have the numbers or the interest to get it going. Because clearly that was a big thing. Again, that's leadership and the mentorship and bringing things together. So it's been the last 2 years we have not had a team. And I think in talking to Jen though, that things are gonna change. And I think that changes, Chris, with a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? You know, in sports, right? You have big classes of athletes, right? Like
And I think that that's something, and I know we've done in the past, like, or even currently do for hockey and things like that, right? Is that an area where if we don't have numbers,
Yep,
you know, there could be a partnership. Just
correct.
something to think about, because I think it's, you know, we don't want to certainly exclude anyone.
Nope. And again, we've recruited, we did a lot of, I did a lot of work with the teachers and again, the students and asking and those kind of things and speaking with Jen Horn. We just haven't had the interest, I guess, yet or whatnot, but certainly, again, it is about the students and if we can find them.
I wanted to ask, what is your staff? So there's transportation and scheduling and mentoring and training and a myriad of other pieces. What is how much do you do? How much can you delegate? How many, like, what's the administration of all this look like? Do you really do it all by yourself?
Okay, well, we have an athletic trainer who's gonna handle athletic training.
Perfect.
That's
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Last year, in the last 2 years, Ruben has allowed me to use a college intern, is that right? Who has been part-time.
Okay.
So who, gives like 15 to, I don't think they've ever passed more than 20 hours per week on what they can do. Obviously, they're going to school and those kind of things. So yes, it's me. And then Karen does everything as far as with David and as far as writing the checks and the stuff like that.
Right, the finance office.
Yep. Yep. Karen is those. Yep.
So Heather, when my girls were younger, when they were still at the grade school, I remember thinking about middle school and how they would be involved. And how few clubs and sports there were. I mean, I actually sort of counted how many different ways they could be involved. And I was like, okay, well, they're engaged in other things outside of school, and that's okay. But in the 6 years since, or 7 years since they've entered and then graduated, so many programs have started in so many different ways for kids to be involved. It's amazing to me. And even though maybe they weren't, they were involved in so many clubs and in so many different ways, and it amazes me. And one of my children has gotten pretty significant scholarships without doing a school sport since I think 7th grade. And those were academic clubs. Like, we are canceling her student loans for this year because of the scholarships. That's huge, right? I mean, it's something we need to celebrate. It shouldn't be knocked down. It should be like, okay, sports are fantastic. School sports are amazing. But there's other things too, and there are paths forward.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that, well, I mean,
But I will say, as someone who really didn't know the story behind any of this. I'm really glad to see that there is a process that everything goes through and it's very organized and that, you know, people aren't just pulling things out of the sky and that we track the numbers and, you know, see the benefit and, you know, I, you know, can now see how well it's run and how much makes sense. But as someone just looking at, you know, documents flying by, you kind of say, what's this? And I, you know, I'm like, just like the general public would feel.
Mhm.
So it's good that you were able to say your piece and your video be viewable online so that, you know, other people, you know, can be, you know, shown the value of this and where their money's going. Because that end of the day is so important to keep, you know, keep you going and to keep this, you know, going year to year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I appreciate the students and the parents or coaches in those expressing it, right? Because they're the ones that benefit as, you know what I mean? Nobody knows really that, you know, we have a game crew, but you know what? It benefits them immensely to be a part of sports and those kind of things and to
write about that in essays, scholarship essays, and have that be like, this might be something I would pursue as an adult, right? This is an amazing opportunity to develop their individuality and their focus that they may not get at a different school. It is what makes us unique.
well, you know, and you know, just like a Jaden Broughton, right?
Right.
Like just she did everything. I have no idea how she did everything. She is taking the summer off. I had to speak to her and she's like, yeah, I'm taking the summer off. I'm not doing a thing. I said, okay. But again, she was always involved, but I will tell you that it's about student voice. And again, maybe more at the grade schools, but like I said, even when parents hear about like the Be Actives and those kind of things, and they're very happy to have their kid be a part of something.
Can I just also comment that it is amazing that we are able to fit all of these sports and clubs in these small buildings. And I know we can only do this in partnership with our Parks and Recs programs, being able to use Humiston Field for baseball, 2 middle school baseball teams, right? And community field, that's the town. I'm not sure about community field, but anyway, and then Parks and Recs uses our facilities for basketballs, programs, and clearly we are maxed out, right? We need more. This isn't the year to be talking about that, but we need to look forward to a time when we can build our own baseball field. And, you know, maybe a bigger gym or something along those lines, but an improved track because it's in horrible condition. We need to start putting our money where our values are as a community. At some point in time.
Can I just add to that about 8 or 9 months ago, Christine came up with a suggestion that there are other communities in the state that are using public-private partnerships to try and address some of these things. You know, our communities are pretty proud of our sports teams, and you know, maybe some members of the business community might say, you know, we'd like to see a baseball field that was owned by the district or a improved facility over near the track. And I think that was a great idea, Christine. I know we've mentioned it to the selectmen. There's been no further action on it at this point. We've had a lot of other things on our plate, but I think it's something that we should continue to pursue.
An auditorium. Think about that. Oh, how we can dream.
Heather, I really want to thank you. This is tremendous. I know it's going to get a lot of hits online. And you did a fantastic job putting this together. And we might even get more comments and questions coming in and we'll send them along to you. Amanda, thank you for coming and speaking, and everybody who provided testimonial, gorgeously done, and thank you for sharing all this with us. That's so valuable for us. So thank you. Yeah.